Hi, my name is Liz Hathway and this is my astrological look at the week ahead. The planets are taking the shape of a bowl at the moment. That means that all of the planets are within 180 degrees of the zodiac wheel. The axis Scorpio Taurus or Taurus Scorpio is emphasized at the moment because that's where the opposition will eventually be between Venus and Jupiter. So we have this situation with 180 degrees of the zodiac wheel occupied and the other half not. So what does that mean? Well, it means for a start that we should focus on what we have to give, on the full half of on our potential, and not really focus on what we are lacking. Because there is that sense, certainly this week with Jupiter sextile Pluto, which is the second of the three, that's on Saturday this week. There's that sense with Jupiter sextile Pluto of, you know, our ambitions being stimulated. We want to, we want to get ahead in some way, but with Jupiter retrograde, it might seem as if our plans are a bit being held back, or we're not getting the inspiration that we'd like. It's a really interesting Jupiter sextile Pluto, this one, because Jupiter is really the spiritual warrior and Pluto is really pointing to the hidden treasure, you know, parts of ourselves that we might have neglected, not developed enough. So there's opportunities with this Jupiter sextile Pluto, as there always are with sextiles. But, you know, we really are wrestling with ourselves a little bit. And we need to really look at past experience because that is very much Saturnian Capricorn. But it's also about spiritual, material values because, as I said, with the bowl shape now, the Taurus Scorpio axis is very much associated with values, with finance, with what we love and what we treasure, but also our deep attachments to things, which is very much Jupiter in Scorpio. So there is this polarity this week with half of the zodiac occupied and half unoccupied. This is a sort of key central theme for many of us, I think. It's really focusing on the positive, what we have, and being aware but not too triggered by the sense of lacking or what we don't have. So we have, to go through the week, we have, as I say, Venus in Taurus at the moment. Is very important planet. She's sort of leading that bowl. She's square the nodes on Monday. So it's really looking for, stability in relationships, looking for harmony in business and in affairs. Looking at the upcoming opposition, of course, to Jupiter retrograde, it's trying to be positive and choose the path of wisdom and diplomacy and that sort of general sense of peacefulness, conciliation, because the alternative with the Sun-Pluto square on Wednesday, if we don't go for the more conciliatory path, if we don't go for the more peaceful route, then there's this head-on collision, with the Sun-Pluto square. I mean, the Sun is in Aries, it's very action-orientated. It has a sort of tendency as well to be, it can be quite violent, Aries. And I'm talking not on an individual basis, but as a purely archetypal sort of energy. It's Mars-ruled, Mars at the moment, besieged between Saturn and Pluto, and we're certainly seeing this besiegement of Mars and its out-of-bounds status reflected in the collective. If you look, for example, at the gas attack in Syria, for example, as just one example, but there are many more that I can think of, but I don't want to be, sort of go too much into politics because that can get tricky. So there's this sense of you know, the route is either conciliatory or it's very much a power struggle. It's very much a power play. It's very much, you know, about clashes of interest. It's very much about might makes right and strong arm, macho behaviour. And that certainly reaches its peak with the square on Wednesday of the Sun and Pluto. But fortunately, shortly after, we have Venus trine Mars. So Venus is able to contact Mars, even though it's sandwiched now between Saturn and Pluto. And it's almost like offering the hand of friendship. It's almost like reaching out in some way. And that's see we again on Thursday with Venus sextile Neptune. Again, this is very much about redemption, about sympathy. It's about reaching out from the heart. It's very, and with Neptune in Pisces exalts Venus. This is lovely energy on Thursday. So, you know, plans and projects and new experiences, new business partners, new, you know, just all kinds of relationship things on every level can benefit greatly from the sextile to Neptune. It's also very creative and very artistic. Followed on Saturday by the Jupiter sextile Pluto, and another very imaginative, creative aspect, you know, particularly photography and film, anything visual, is the Mars sextile Neptune on Saturday. And then on Sunday we see Mercury finally go in direct. Mercury will then be, let me see, in 4 degrees 47 Aries. So we have a sense this week of, you know, it's very important where we place the focus, that we focus on what we have. And also that idea with Pluto, so it's very much Pluto, one of the themes of Pluto is hidden treasures, you know, the things that we maybe don't recognize in ourselves, but others recognize in us. It's about galvanizing and getting in touch with our inner resources. And certainly, you know, when Jupiter comes back into contact with Pluto in September, you know, in its final sextile, then I think we might really sort of have gone big major step forward in terms of self-knowledge and understanding. Okay, thank you for listening. Have a great week. Bye.